Yeah, so looking at the measurements, the first thing that you said that's kind of like, maybe, you didn't use the word brighter, but, or I think energetic you used.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
What?
I'm not only excited for the speakers that we're reviewing today, but also we decided to do measurements. So this will be the first, however, we're going to be doing it in a different way.
Recognize these terms? Glencore cabinet construction, point-to-point bracing, Helmholtz pressure equalizer tube? These are benchmark innovations created by Q Acoustics. Here are the all-new Q Acoustics Concept 50s. Q Acoustic claims the Concept 50s are unaffected by internal and external resonances. These speakers deliver focused stereo imaging, accurate audio, and an extended holographic soundstage to emulate a live performance in your home. We are excited to test these out. Let's get into it. Welcome to Hi-Fi. I'm Marcos, this is Kurt, and today we're talking about the Q Acoustics Concept 50s. The Q Acoustic Concept 50s are a two-way floor standing speaker featuring two 5-inch bass drivers, a single 25mm tweeter. They're rated at 6 ohms with a 90.5 decibel sensitivity, 25 to 150 watts rating, and the cool part about them, they have a built-in isolation.
I do like the looks of these. Basically took the original ones and even modernized it even more by doing a lot smoother, cleaner lines. I think the one thing is they're kind of known for this feet at the bottom, and with that feet, I don't know, I was kind of debating which one I like better, the older one with the glass that kind of came out in the more triangle shape, or this more curved kind of ends on there. The lacquer is finished very well on this, and even from the front, it's all curved as opposed to just being flat edges.
I really find the Concept 50s are bringing in a new era of speaker design with their extremely clean, modern looks. I find they'll fit really well in today's modern homes. The other thing I really like about the Concept 50s is the colors they come in. They're all high gloss finish, white, black, and also this really cool metallic silver.
The overall performance of the speaker was very good, especially at the price range. What really I think shocked me the most about the speaker was its bass. Its bass was really clean, articulate, and surprisingly quite neutral. And it just created this really good texturing in the bass lines.
The Concept 50s at $4,500 Canadian, I found on the top end as well, are very fast and energetic and kept up with a lot of different music. We performed our classic dB test on the Concept 50s at around 60 decibels normal conversation levels. I found they performed really well. The bass was still nice and present, and on the top end, they were still very lively and really filled the room even at that listening volume.
At really high levels, say in the 85 decibel range, no problem for a speaker like this. The bass was still really clean. The top end too wasn't breaking up at that level. At the maximum part, at about 90, what was it?
93?
Yeah, I think at 93 dBs, it handled it quite well, but you can tell that's where it starts to become its limit from that listening position. Also too, I found that the bass was suffering a little bit, but other than that, it sounds big and dynamic.
When it came to listening to Concept 50s, we listened to a large variety of music. The first song that stood out to us, Joan Arma Trading, Down to Zero. I love this song because it's a classic 1970s, 80s song. With these speakers, the vocals sounded really nice and clear as they should be. The guitars were really nicely detailed, and you could really pinpoint all the instruments in the song.
when listening to this track, you can hear everything where everything was placed. The speaker does such a good job in creating that space and that feeling. Another thing that I noticed too as well is even when she's singing, she's supposed to be kind of right just on the left side, right in between the speaker and from center position, and you can clearly hear this on that speaker without any confusion. I also found the guitars, really there's a lot of attack, and it's a very energetic kind of sound, especially in the strings. It just really comes quite alive, and it's got that quick kind of sharp sound to it.
The second song that stood out for us, Norbub. The second song that stood out for us, Nordub by Sly and Robbie. It's a bit of a compilation album. The song we listened to was How Long. It's more of like a interesting dub song, and the reason why I want to hear it on these speakers, earlier this week I listened to this song on a really expensive, almost $200,000 system, and it made the room just absolutely disappear. Now yes, that did ruin me a little bit when listening to these, but I was actually surprised on how well these speakers portrayed this song.
Whose system was that?
Jared's.
Okay.
Which he's got like 200 grand in like filtering.
Oh no, I know.
His Ethernet.
That guy.
The speakers, he's just using ambience.
Yeah, that system is pretty crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah. And so this song did have a really cool effects, and the speakers in general just really created that illusion, exactly what they were confident in the studio. The one thing that I thought was really neat is the way they would add a whole bunch of they would pan and play around with the phasing with his vocals. So, at times in the music, all of a sudden be singing, and then you can tell the voice through through this neat effect of echo and phasing and panning, it would just bring the voice out beyond the speakers. And I think this was such a cool effect, and it just creates this immersive kind of feeling when listening to this song.
Yeah, it has this crazy passing lights on the highway illusion sound.
What was really neat about this song, it was the bass. It was just all done string bass instead of having your normal just beats that were usually mixed into tracks. And because I'm very fond of the way this speaker creates bass, it's so clean and articulate. In this song, it just did such an excellent job creating that vision, what they wanted to do in the bass lines.
As Kurt mentioned at the start of the video, we're going to be introducing measurements for speakers.
To add to that, we're going to do something just slightly a little bit different. And what we'll do is we'll do a future video of why and how we're doing the measurements. But as of right now, just a quick short summary of it is we're doing an in-room measurement, and we're going to always be comparing it to our baseline, which are the PMC speakers.
So as you can see in our measurement graph, our red line is for our baseline speakers, which are PMCs, and the blue line will always be our measured speaker, which today is the Concept 50s.
Yeah, so looking at the measurements, the first thing that you said that's kind of maybe, you didn't use the word brighter, or I think energetic you used.
Yeah.
You're wrong. What? Really? And I will tell you, I'm surprised at this too. And that's why sometimes the perception of brightness comes off quite different. And I think that, in here, you can clearly see on the blue, which is the Concept 50s, they purposely, and I'm sure they purposely did this, it's rolled off on purpose to give kind of a nice, maybe warmish type of sound as compared to our PMCs. As you can see, our PMCs are quite linear. And sometimes the thing is that it's just even the way the drivers resonate. You can take an example of what people say focal speakers are bright because it uses a beryllium tweeter or anything like that, or use a ceramic aluminum drivers. When you kind of feed the sound and how damped the sound is and the way it radiates energy, creates sometimes a different perception of sound. And even this creative of speed, and which sometimes appears bright, but it's funny because when you look at the measurements, it's not. And I think that's our whole purpose, is to see how we subjective compared to what we objectively measure.
Compared to our baseline speakers, the bass curve on the Concept 50s was actually a lot more flat than I thought.
And I think the reason why, I kept mentioning, I found it's more articulate. Right? So, see, I was right. and
Kurt, right
yeah,
again.
And I think part of I think in this room, part of it maybe was the front port, why the PMCs seems to have a lot more bass present, or maybe because that transmission line, they just tuned it that way. But definitely on this, the Concept 50s was shockingly quite neutral in our in-room measurements.
Bass actually measured quite flat all the way down to 35 Hz, which was pretty impressive.
Overall, the Concept 50s measure well. It's even in-room measurements, and I think that a little bit of taper down on the top end, maybe they're also doing it in a way where they're compromising for people that might have a more live room than our room. So that's always to take into consideration. And the only one thing there too as well is you're going to notice that there's a little bump. To let you guys all know, that's just 500 to 600 hertz frequency range, but that's just normal room mode that we have here. You're going to see that in all our speakers that we measure.
We recommend the Concept 50s for somebody who's really looking for a nice, clean, modern aesthetic speaker. They're best suited for a medium to larger size room.
Tell you, I'm not that familiar with this brand. I know a lot of them, but haven't had enough hands-on experience. Coming to mind though, I know they're gonna match well with a lot of Cambridge Audio. You're looking at Name, even I can see the Atom working really well, or any of the Unity series, anything from like Lin Audio, and I think those kind of keeping it with that kind of more UK kind of flavor. I think it's just going to be the safe match. However, experiment, try out when you're auditioning it. Try out with a bunch of different brands, and just see what you like.
I know Kurt hasn't had a lot of time on the Concept 50s, but I was actually listening to them on our Audio Research i50. If you want to learn more about the Audio Research, check out the video right here. Thanks for watching our video on the Q Acoustic Concept 50s. If you have any questions about Q Acoustics, let us know down in the comments below. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.